Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to a really exciting match I had with some great support from my team, and I thought what better opportunity than to show off the shenanigans of two players at once, as I was managing one side of the field with some excellent support from a teammate on the other side, and that teammate is Mandalorian something or other. That's a great Star Wars reference. So, we're starting off in the Super Hellcat, or my version, the Super Cheeseburger Cat. I absolutely love this vehicle. It's fantastic. It's a straight progression of the standard Tech Tree Hellcat with a 90mm gun and nearly the same amount of mobility. Meanwhile, Mandalorian over here joined the match late along with his teammate, whose name is Helpful, well, he might be something of a troll, as you see him riding the rear fender of his friend there to begin with, and we've already positioned ourselves in the cap circle of the B point. Being a speedy boy, it's always good to go for that middle point, and what's that other than a panther rolling into the cap? We're gonna have to deal with him one way or another. Tricky situation. I put on my man pants and peek around the corner. The panther is still moving, but he's slowing down. He may be ready to take this shot. We pop out, take a quick shot that gets very lucky, hitting him in the cupola, taking down all of the turret crew. He has popped smoke. Meanwhile, Mandalorian and his very helpful friend who's squatted up with him. Both of these were in the what you can see the name of the squadron there. I can't, it's too small of text here in the editor I'm using, so that's how helpful his friend was being. I thought that was pretty funny. Butt friends, I suppose. Don't read into that. Okay, meanwhile, our team has dealt with the panther. A teammate took him down. And now I'm looking over the ridge and I see, what is that? A tank destroyer? And yet he's advancing. In fact, that panther hasn't quite yet been dealt with. He's still sitting in his smoke. So me peeking out here, rather dangerous maneuver, expecting him around the area of the rock. And where did he? Oh, he's right there. Quick, adjust the gun. A nice snapshot with the 90mm takes him down. And that APHE just shreds everything inside of his vehicle. It's one of the great gifts of using the American 90mm. So we're continuing on here. It's just about time for us to reposition. So we get out of the cap circle, scanning, carefully really hard here. It's very common for enemies to be sniping over that ridge, so we reposition quickly. Meanwhile, Mandalorian is encountering his first enemy, a tiger at close range. Snapshot goes into the hole, bounces off the highly angled intermediary armor between the two major hull plates. He aims for the weak spot of the tiger, but it doesn't seem to go exactly where he was aiming. Replay bug, who's to say? He aims again, this time for the other hole in the turret armor, or thin area of the turret armor. Aiming now, fires straight through the road wheel. Interesting choice. I tend to aim above the track for better results when I'm taking that kind of shot. Meanwhile, helpful, well, he was being active as well, and the teammate Mandalorian takes down the last enemy. Free Panzer IV kill? Why not? Alright, what's going on the other side of the battlefield? I've repositioned, now I'm moving down the river. And we spot with third-person camera a tiger, side on. Who could ask for more? We aim, but we don't give quite enough elevation to the gun, setting a good fire in his engine, but that's not going to be enough. We ping him a few times with the MG just to point out his location for our allies, and we were actually waiting here for the smoke to stop, because that means he's using his fire extinguisher. It gives us about 3 seconds to make our move, but he already has his gunner back, so we need to be a bit more cautious. However, the Sherman Jumbo with the long 75 doesn't need to be so careful, and he assists me in taking down that big cat. That was very helpful to me, and now I can continue to wrap around to flank the enemy team as appropriate. Mandalorian now out of the A point, having captured it, fires on a tiger, aims a bit too high to hit that unangled front plate, and ends up bouncing off the side of the turret. Another shot, this time again aiming for the very small weak spot in the turret. I would have gone for a front plate shot myself, but he ends up getting taken down with a nicely placed shot by the Tiger that went through, of all things, his highly angled front plate. That is a rare sight to see. So what's Helper up to now, since he wasn't being all that helpful? Well, he's off to some shenanigans of his own. He actually had a good match during this battle as well, although not quite so effective as his squad mate, and now he's in something of a tight spot. He backs up, trying to get the ambush on enemies that will be moving into the A point. He's doing a nice job of securing it, but he ends up getting targeted by 2 enemies now, neither of which he's going to be able to take down. So that's going to be the end of this life for Helper. Meanwhile, what's going on the other side of the battlefield? I've finally decided to move out from this spot of cover I was using to observe enemy movements. I didn't see any enemy vehicles moving through this part of the battlefield, so I decided to push up, and I'd been seeing what looked like a cannon barrel for the longest time, but it never moved the whole time I was watching. So I thought, oh, actually, okay, yeah, it was a Panther. So we get very lucky here as his snapshot goes above us. We get a lucky shot into the rear of his turret, setting him a fuego and reducing his crew down to solamente 2 personas, and then we finish him off from a safe distance just in case that ammo rack explodes. We do not want to become collateral damage. Now we're going to work the back row as is appropriate for a Super Hellcat. My goal is not to lurk around the enemy spawn, but to move around the backside of enemy positions, take down AA, take down campers, and if I manage to encounter an enemy moving out from their spawn before they see me, well, that's to my advantage. Ostwind, targeting someone else, thankfully, and our snapshot goes high, opening up with the 50 cals, hoping for something, but he does have that late Panzer IV chassis, so we're not going to be able to go through his side armor. Managed to get a nice 90mm hit into him, and it just blows up every dang thing inside his vehicle, the way that the American 90mm cannon does, so satisfyingly. Satisfatis, por supuesto. So, moving on. What is up with me in Spanish right now? We check the bush that looks like a tank turret. It's still just a bush. Good to know. And now we're scanning around the battlefield looking for targets. Can we get a shot on that Panther? The luckiest hit you could possibly get. Snaps through the optic, goes through the flat turret armor at the base of the turret, and takes down every single thing inside of his vehicle. Again, that 90mm armor-piercing high explosive, very satisfying. We're getting on a hot streak now. So we have plenty of respawn points in case we run out of lives for our kitty cat here. Hearing airplanes pass overhead is a little bit unnerving, but those mostly sound like American big heavy aircraft engines, so we will live to see another day at this point. Looking around, trying to find our next target, we see some movement. And now it's decision time. When will we spring our trap? We peek just outside of the bushes, go into binocular view. Can we line up the shot? Very nicely done there. The 90mm does manage to puncture the thicker part of the side armor, and we're immediately set upon by a whirlwind. This is bad news for us, and yes, he does take us down as we were attempting to go hold down there. It just didn't work out for us. Meanwhile, Mandalorian, observing the A point from his position in a standard M18. Nice shot into the side of the Tiger there, who was peeking out just a bit too much, and he's also noticed a Tiger on the bridge. There was a moment where he was trying to decide between targets that didn't make it into the final cut of this video, but it was very dramatic. Now he's moving up, pushing forward. The Tiger's not looking at him. Can he get the shot? Barrels bouncing all over the place there. That actually looks like a Panther, doesn't it? And he gets the... No, it is a Tiger. Okay. He just misses the shot into the turret of the Tiger. Takes some fire from what must have been an aircraft from behind. And now he's in a standoff. It's mobility versus armor. And look at the movements of this M18. Very nicely done. Time to aim for the lower side armor. Quickly fire. Quickly, quickly. Oh, and it goes into the engine compartment. Just behind where it needs to be. He wonders if he can take a second shot, but it's going to be too late before that turret wraps around. Now it's time to aim carefully. He goes for the track, and the track absorbs most of the armor penetrative qualities of his round. He should have aimed for between the tracks, but an ally comes in with a beautiful bombing to finish him off. Does set Mandalorian afire, but that was an explosive way to end that standoff with the Tiger. That was thrilling to watch, and now another enemy soon to present himself with that ally aircraft still in the air. Watch this P-47 come in for his ground attack. This pilot is daring and effective. Here come the rockets, and Mandalorian, observing, holds his shot. That P-47 has destroyed 2 Tigers with 1 flight. Very nicely done to the pilot of that P-47. Now Mandalorian decides to reposition. That's something you've noticed from the both of us, is aggressive repositioning on the map. I haven't mentioned this is one of my favorite maps for that very reason. There's some very strong sniping positions, but it behooves you to stay mobile on this map as he gets a beautiful shot into the rear of that Panzer IV. Again, blowing up every dang thing inside of his vehicle. Very satisfying to see that kind of effect when you're firing your rounds. Now he continues to wrap around, being very aware of his position and where it would be effective for him to place himself in the coming battle. As I mentioned, this is a map that focuses heavily on being mobile, on being able to wrap around and flank those solid enemy firing positions, and keeping a good head on your shoulders when it comes to positioning. Now, with another Tiger to face down, I would go for the side of the turret. That's exactly what he went for. Landed right in through the add-on tracks. Not enough to take down the gunner as the enemy continues to swing around the turret. Mandalorian goes for a snapshot now on the rear of the tank, setting him on fire. That is helpful. Now's a good time to stop and aim for the lower side armor. He's aiming a bit high here and actually hits the cupola. That is not the shot I would have gone for here, so he's going to have to take another shot. He's dangerously close to the enemy ammo rack. Thankfully, it does not detonate, because that probably would have been a collateral. Now, I've respawned in my M26 T99. I get a nice shot, and check this out. With the rockets as they fly in at their low velocity, I get a lucky hit near the base of that Sonderkraftfahrzeug and blow him to Kingdom Come. Every now and then, the rockets make the M26 T99 worth the purchase, and until that point, it's an M26, which is a solid medium tank with, again, that beautiful 90mm cannon, and I've mentioned before that I just love this tank. Now, a final shot through the bushes. Can we make the shot? Oh, sorry, I said a final shot. This isn't our final shot. I'm confused. But we did get a nice hit into that Tiger. Are we going to have a teammate finish him off, or will we get the kill? We didn't manage to get through his armor at that point. I think our aim was just a bit off. Now, back to Mandalorian. Nice shot on that No. What is that? I forget. Jagdpanzer 470, I think is what that's called. My apologies if I got it wrong. It's been a while since I played the Germans at this tier. It's what is it? A 4.7, 5.0, I think, battle rating. Good solid vehicle from the front, but not so effective at this battle rating or that angle. Another shot bounces off the side of an angled Tiger, and Mandalorian decides to reposition. I really wanted to go for a turret shot there as I was playing for him in my head, but check out this shot through the bushes. This is just incredible. With nary a sight at his target, but knowing where he is, he fires through concealment of those bushes and takes him down. Meanwhile, I'm repositioning myself, getting toward the end of the match here. As we're winning on tickets, we've done a great job of controlling the battlefield, forcing enemies into positions where we can flank them and get that surround. We got great support from the vast majority of our teammates. And now, shot with the Panzer 470. Can I make it? Nope, back to Mandalorian for one last look. He's taking down the Hovre prototype, which is a very strong vehicle this tier. He's just about to get the killing blow, and now I'll let you see what my shot does. Can we hit the Panzer IV? Ooh, that is a beautiful hit. And as I mentioned, at this battle rating, that armor is just not going to be effective. So that is it. This has been a double team production. Again, I was using the replay system that's available on Gaijin's website to get the footage of Mandalorian playing. You can even see from his perspective as he plays through the game. So definitely check out the online replay system that Gaijin has available. It's awesome. And then here you can see the results of the match. We really had a great game here, and it was my pleasure to show off the work of my team. If you guys liked this video, well, guess what? I had a blast making it, so I definitely want to make more like this as the chance presents itself. I've also been doing some interviews, and I also definitely want to keep those coming. But that wraps it up for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.